Now, the exam, or the exam board, don't just ask you to look at one source. They want to really test you and see how good you are. So they ask you about two sources. So this time we've got how reliable our sources A and D as evidence of the success of evacuation. And just to make it clear to you, I've put it there, look, proper exam question. So, source A, first of all, from a government leaflet evacuation, why and how, 1939. That's the provenance. I'd be underlining that because, of course, that's at the very start of the war, and a government leaflet is quite important. In contrast, over here, we've got an interview with an actor, but somebody who remembers life as an evacuee. So essentially, we've got somebody who has experienced evacuation, talking probably years after the event, and this is somebody, this is a leaflet which is before evacuation has actually taken place. So if we're looking at these as evidence of the success of evacuation, that date's quite important because you're going to find it difficult to judge the success of evacuation before it's actually happened. Well, let's have a delve into the sources here. So we've read them carefully, underlining key bits. Government has made plans for the removal of school children from what are evacuable areas to safer places. Householders have offered homes where the children will be most welcome. Well, that suggests it's going to be a success, doesn't it? I'd be underlining that bit. The school children will have their teachers and other helpers with them. That sounds good. The transport of 3 million children is an enormous undertaking. Of course, it means heartache. Okay, so there's a negative bit. To be separated from your children, but you can be sure that they will be looked after. I'll be underlining this little bit here. I'll be underlining heartache. I'll be saying school children will have their teachers and other helpers with them, and that the children will be most welcome. Now on to the other one, because this is somebody who experienced all of this stuff. A woman said, "Here's your meal," and gave us a tin of pilchards between the two of us and some bread and water. Now, we'd been in a rich woman's house before, so we said, "Where's the butter?" And we got a sudden wallop around the head. I'd definitely be underlining that. Later we found out that the woman hated kids and was doing it for the extra money. So the meals were the cheapest you could dish up. It's this last bit of the sauce which is really important here. So in terms of you can be sure they will be looked after, cheapest you could dish up, sudden wallop around the head. Over here we've got children will be most welcome. Well, again, sudden wallop around the head. Woman hated kids. Now, these two things don't match up. They can't both be right. We've underlined important bits here. Well, looking at the provenance first, because we're considering these key bits we've underlined, you would assess the provenance from your own nous, from your own knowledge, just working out what do we think here about these particular sources. Well, a government leaflet is likely to put a positive spin on things in 1939 because it's trying to encourage mothers to send their children away in evacuation. A person who's experienced evacuation has got no reason to put a positive spin on it, especially if he's had a wallop round the head and so on and so forth. Of course, it's an actor. They might be potentially a bit more dramatic than other people. I don't know. That's a bit tenuous. But maybe they're exaggerating from their memory because this is being done thinking about the past. But that's a minor point really compared to this. This is the key bit. The government in 1939 are going to try and make evacuation sound wonderful because they're trying to get people out. Now, from our own knowledge, what can we do to analyse these particular sources? Well, I think the key thing here is history tells us that the experience of evacuees depended on where they ended up and how lucky they were. Just like in normal life, most people are alright. Some people are the nicest people you'll ever meet, and some people are really not nice. So for many evacuees, life was probably alright. For some, they had the best time ever and some of them even want to go back. And some of them, it was horrific because they really did not feel welcome and they had terrible lives where they were evacuated. So that's what I would be picking out from history tells us. And now you might also mention why this is all positive, because in the start of the war, the Blitz actually didn't start for a while. It didn't start until 1940, really, with the severe bombing of London. So the government really has to try to convince these ladies to send their children away. So, a little conclusion. Overall, in conclusion, these sources, as terms of success of evacuation, they both have their merits, but the most reliable source would be source D, because source A has a reason to exaggerate and to try and make things sound a lot more positive than they might have been, whereas source D sounds like, although it's perhaps an extreme example of what happened to children, it is an example of what happened to children, and suggests that evacuation wasn't a massive success for some children. And there we go.